It is time to make a smoothie bowl. I often get asked from people, K-Rail, what do you break your fast with every day? Well, I'm a firm believer in dietary diversity, so I try to mix up what I break my fast with every single day. But I have one staple that I want to talk about in this video, and that is one of my world famous smoothie bowls. Behind me, you're going to see all these ingredients on this counter. I'm going to go through some of the key things I put in my smoothie bowls. I'm going to teach you how I make them, and I also am going to talk about how I pre-make them sometimes when I put them in the fridge, so when I get home from the gym later in the middle of the morning or later in the day, they're ready to go and they're on hand. That's a strategy that I highly suggest you deploy when you don't feel like you have enough time to prepare things in the morning. Make your smoothie bowl a day ahead, put it in your fridge, and you're good to go the next day, and then you can just grab it. Or you can put it into a container and bring it with you to work. Smoothie bowls are great places to pile in a ton of nutrients, including greens and different types of plant-based supplements, nuts and seeds and antioxidant powder and stuff like that. So without any further ado, we're gonna head back there to those ingredients and I'm gonna show you how it's done. First things first, you might be wondering why I'm shirtless in my kitchen. Well, I just took the dog for a walk and it's warm outside and I want to take off my shirt and get some vitamin D and protect my head at the same time. Technically, I'm wearing a shirt, and if I walked into Whole Foods like this, I'm still wearing a shirt, but it's just on my head. Think about that. First things first with this smoothie bowl. You're going to need a blender, you're going to need a blender cup. We like the Ninja product right here. I used to have a Ninja Bullet, which was the smaller version of this, but when I moved in with Jen, she had this huge Ninja right here with a couple different cups and a couple different attachments to it, and I really like it, and this is a great blender and it's powerful. So you're gonna wanna mash your things to a pulp. However, we're gonna make a liquid, but we're not gonna make it too much of a liquid, and that's what makes it into a bowl rather than a smoothie. I like my smoothie bowls to be nice and chunky, and I like to have things in there, and I'll get to those things in 2 seconds. So the first thing we're gonna do is put our frozen ingredients in the bottom. So I usually grab about 4 or 5 strawberries, pop them in, frozen. I'm gonna throw them over there after I get done with them. And then I'm gonna throw in a small handful of blueberries. Blueberries are powerful antioxidants. Strawberries are powerful antioxidants as well. Don't forget that. They're also good for your eyesight. Don't listen to all the hype. Blueberries are good for you. Then I'm gonna put some greens in. Kale. And be generous with your greens because they are low in calories and they are high in nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Vitamin A, vitamin K, high in fiber, high in water content, so you get automatic hydration. So I have a good amount of kale in there. Then I'm going to my baby spinach. And by the way, these are organic, see that? And this is Earthbound Farms, which is a good company. I got these at Costco. Watch my Costco video because I talk about healthy shopping down there, and I specifically talk about this, well, I guess it's a box, a clamshell container of baby spinach, and it's organic. And literally that thing costs like $3.99 for this huge container. And when you buy these in a conventional grocery store, organic, you can get a clamshell like this, half this size, and you're gonna pay probably $4.99 or $5.99. Make sure to watch that video and like it too, because I talk about that in there. As you can see, that's pretty packed right now with greens. This is a good way to get extra greens in your diet because we know the health benefits of greens, and I just went through some of them. Next, I'm gonna throw in some fresh turmeric and ginger. Turmeric and ginger combined together is a fantastic, and I'm gonna call it a deadly combination, but in a good way, for gut health, for immune boosting, for lowering inflammation, and also turmeric is good for producing brain-derived neurotrophic factor inside the body, which is a precursor to a protein that helps improve your mood and your cognitive function, and it's also really good for gut health too. I'm gonna be doing a video on brain-derived neurotrophic factor, so stay tuned for that down the road. I usually use a chunk of turmeric about that big, and see how nice and bright orange that is. Anything that's got a bright color to it, remember, is very beneficial for you. So I toss that in, and I use a chunk of ginger about that big, and these are both organic, and they're very beneficial for the body. And also, I'm gonna reach into my magic box. Yes, this is my magic box of healthy ingredients here, and plant-based things. What did I do with it? Okay, there it is. Black pepper. I literally grind it, and I throw it in there. Black pepper has a substance in it called piperin or piperin, depending on how you want to pronounce it, which helps with the release of the curcumin, which is found in the turmeric, which is the main ingredient responsible for the inflammation reduction in the body. So keep that in mind. You want to put black pepper anytime you're using a turmeric product like this, if it's a powder or if you do fresh turmeric like this. I particularly like the root because you're getting a little bit more fiber and more nutrients from the actual food itself than you would from, say, a powder in a bag. Not that I'm opposed to it, I'm just giving you the honest truth right there. Okay, let me go into my magic bag again. This is raw cacao butter. Super high in nutrients. It's a good source of healthy fat. I put a little chunk in here like this. There, I just went flipping across my table. And it helps make your smoothie bowl nice and creamy, and it's super good as a powerful antioxidant, and it's also good for brain health as well. Next, I'm going to address chia seeds. I usually put a teaspoon of these in my smoothie bowls, and I put them in the blender because it helps thicken it up. Chia seeds are high in omega-3 and 6 and 9 fatty acids. They're also a good source of protein, and they're a good source of fiber as well. And by the way, this particular smoothie bowl that I'm making is going to be plant-based. I have a really good plant-based protein powder I'm going to talk to you about in here. You can make these with whey protein if you like, or egg protein, or any type of protein powder you want. But I am particularly fond of the Sun Warrior plant-based protein powder, which I'll get to in a minute once I get to that stage. I'm going through the preliminary things that I put in the beginning. Oh, I gotta get something else out of my counter, out of my shelf here. This is an absolute must. I actually have a video on this too, apple cider vinegar. This one right here, raw, unfiltered, organic in a glass bottle. I talked about that in my Costco video as well. But I have a couple videos on apple cider vinegar. I just put a little drizzle of that in there. Apple cider vinegar is a powerful antioxidant. It's high in probiotics, so it's good for the gut. And it also helps slow the spike of glycogen when you have a carb-containing meal. Because I have some fruit in here, that's gonna be the case. Now, let's see, do I put anything else in? Oh, I got one more thing I put in before I start the blending process. And that is bee pollen. See the granules? Bee pollen, powerful antioxidant, good for recovery of workouts, and it's also good for brain health and brain function too. So I like to have that in there. Now, I'm gonna add a little bit of water to this. If you want, you can put a nut milk in here, any type of milk that you want. I like to put a little bit of water in here to get the blending process started. Otherwise, this could actually struggle a little bit to get going. And then once I do this first preliminary grind, I'm gonna come back and put 2 more things in it. Without any further ado, hit the music, maestro. Here we go. I struggled a little bit right there with the first preliminary grind of the ingredients because I didn't put enough water in there. So you might have to tweak that a little bit as you go along, but just know that you can make these as thick or as runny as you want. I like to make them a little thicker, so I had to struggle a little to get there. Now the next ingredient I'm throwing in here are organic black grapes, which are powerful antioxidants, and all forms of grapes have resveratrol in them. You've probably heard of that. A lot of people fancy wine as a powerful antioxidant beverage to boost their resveratrol levels and their immune system. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think there's any place for alcohol in the body. I'm not against it. If you all drink, that's totally fine. I drink very sparingly. I just don't think that drinking wine is going to be any more beneficial than just eating grapes or any kind of other antioxidant. Anyway, I put some grapes in there. Now I'm peeling my banana, and I'm gonna chop this up into some pieces and throw it in there. This is gonna be the last part of the grind. And by the way, you probably noticed that I'm mixing blueberries and bananas together. I know a lot of you out there are fear mongers because you've been listening to experts and influencers talking about never combine bananas with blueberries because XYZ reasons are gonna happen and one thing's gonna cancel out the other. And you know what? I don't care. I think that's phooey. There might be a research study on it somewhere, and guess what? I'll probably find a research study elsewhere that's gonna completely debunk that one. And that's the case with every research study there is out there. So be very careful when you're listening to people about what you can and can't pair together. To me, it's an awesome combination between bananas and blueberries. And honestly, if I had a bowl of bananas and blueberries by themselves, I would chop them up and eat them, and I'd have a smile on my face a mile long. Now, let's do the final grind. Here we go. That should do it. Now we're left with a nice gooey, greenish, I don't know what, maybe purplish color. You probably can't see that in the video, but that's the consistency right there. I'm gonna hold this up nice and high so you can see it go in there. See how thick that is? Yeah, it kind of looks like, well, I'm not gonna say out loud because I don't want to gross you out. But I did just take my dog out, and he did have an accident out there. Well, it wasn't an accident. I took him out there deliberately. Anyway, you get the point. That's what it looks like. It's kind of on the greenish side. Don't be scared of the color. I promise you it's gonna taste great when you get down to the nuts and bolts. Let me remove all the things I don't need. Okay, now we're going to start adding our ingredients. I suggest you have a teaspoon and tablespoon handy. I'm gonna get a tablespoon. And a knife as well. First things first, protein powder. Sun Warrior, this is called active protein powder because it has a perfect blend of amino acids in it, and this is chocolate peanut butter flavor. See that? This actually tastes fantastic. I've tried thousands of protein powders in my life, both plant-based and regular, and this is one of the best tasting proteins I've ever had, and it blends really well too. So I usually put about that much. It's like a heaping scoop, which accounts for about 20 grams of protein. And then the rest of the ingredients I'm gonna put in here are gonna bump up the protein another maybe 5 grams or so. So the whole thing has probably 25 grams of protein in it. Probably 70 grams of carbs-ish, and maybe 10 grams of fat. So overall, this is probably going to come out to somewhere in a ballpark of 475 to 525 calories when it's all said and done. This is peanut butter powder by PB Fit. It's chocolate peanut butter powder. I like the peanut butter powder over peanut butter for one main reason, and it's because, as you noticed, I easily scooped it out with my tablespoon and there's no gook to deal with. It's just quicker and easier to use than having to deal with peanut butter itself, and it gets sticky and it gets on your hands and it's a pain, and then you gotta use 2 spoons, and I'm a man that likes to do things quick and fast. Now, sea moss. Ever hear of that stuff? Irish sea moss, powerful antioxidant. I highly suggest you get your hands on this. I put it in my smoothie bowls. It's got kind of a salty flavor to it, believe it or not, but you don't even know it's in there. It just adds a little more creaminess to it. This is by Amazing Grass, which is an amazing company. I really like this company. It's a blend, it's a greens blend that has fruit extracts in it as well, so it has high amount of antioxidants in it. I throw that in there as a safeguard. I already have some greens, actual greens in here from the kale and baby spinach, but I like to have more greens too. You can't have enough greens during the course of the day, especially when you're only eating 1 or 2 meals. So I add it into my smoothie bowl. Next, I add a little scoop of creatine. Great for recoveries, great for aerobic and anaerobic capacity, and believe it or not, creatine is a nootropic, so it's really good for brain function, and it has been proven to help reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease and all-cause disease from mental illness as you age. So I'm all about longevity and reversing the aging process. Anything I can do to help it, I will do it. And creatine is one of those things. Tablespoon of cacao nibs, raw chocolate, powerful antioxidant, high in fiber, good for you. This, ashwagandha, excellent for workout performance, brain function, antioxidant, and hormone balance as well. This stuff, amla powder. See, they come with these nice little, convenient little scoopers. Amla, another super powerful antioxidant. I have a video on amla, you should check that out too. Pine pollen, one of my favorite ingredients in the world. Can you see that? By the Wild Warrior Nutrition Company. For some of you that do follow me religiously, you'll know that I do videos for the Wild Warrior Nutrition Company. I'm good friends with Mike, the owner. He's got a smoking gun product here, pine pollen. It's fantastic. It's really good for all you dudes out there that are trying to balance your hormones, keep testosterone high, HGH high from a natural perspective without getting any kind of negative side effects. Pine pollen is one of those things. If you're not allergic to pine needles or trees, I suggest you get yourself some of that. White mulberries. That's a smoking gun. Remember I said I like things chunky and chewy? Look at those. Oops, I just dropped one. I'll just drop them from up here so you can see them go in. Ready? Here we go. Look how fun that was. I love white mulberries. They're kind of crunchy on the outside and they get really chewy when you eat them, and they add a really nice crunch and chunkiness to my smoothie bowls. And remember, point A was I like things chunky and I like things chewy. So they make a good complement. Next thing, sesame seeds themselves. I have white sesame seeds here. Hopefully you can see that happen. Seems theatrical, so what the heck. I personally like black sesame seeds the best, but the health food store I went to get these didn't have black ones at the time. They nicely found these in their bulk section and gave me some just out of free will. So I added them to my smoothie bowl. I add them to. This is called Mucuna pruriens. I put about a half a teaspoon in. It's powerful stuff. Another one of those things that helps with male health and hormone optimization and balancing testosterone, HGH, etc. from a natural perspective. This, erythritol, organic erythritol. Believe it or not, I've got a major sweet tooth. This has a negligible effect on blood sugar levels and it's 0 calories. So I add a little bit of this because sometimes the fruit, in combination with the rest of the stuff, doesn't quite do it on a sweetness level for me. So I go one step farther and I put that in there. And I'm not saying you need to or have to, but I suggest maybe you might want to try if you have a sweet tooth like I do. Then we have red maca powder. Another fantastic supplement for balancing hormones. This is also good for brain function. It's a powerful antioxidant. It's also good for exercise recovery, workout recovery, and exercise function as well. So it helps give you energy from multiple levels and planes. Psyllium powder. I can't stress enough the importance of a good amount of fiber in your diet, especially when you're only eating 1 to 2 times a day. You don't have a lot of capabilities of getting a ton of fiber in your diet. Fiber helps feed the good bacteria in your gut, so it's going to help improve your gut health. It also helps satiate you and fill you up. And a lot of benefits are found in foods that are high in fiber as well, that are ancillary, vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and stuff like that. So I add psyllium to this bowl because it's a fantastic thing to add. Now let me get to some other things. Okay, I'm back. Pistachios. I put a few of those in, not a ton, not even a handful, this many. I don't know how many that was, maybe 12 or 13. Because I like the crunch, and that adds a really good chunk to it. Raisins, I put a little bit of raisins in there. Raisins are high in antioxidants. Don't be afraid of raisins. Don't listen to the fearmongers that say, don't eat raisins because they're gonna make you fat. They're not gonna make you fat. If you eat like a whole box of them, maybe if you go to Costco and get that 2 big box thing where there's 2 huge bags in there, the organic ones, and eat them all, yeah, and you do that every day, you might get fat from raisins. But don't worry about the glycemic index. Don't worry about the possibility of them causing you to get fat. As long as you work out and you exercise and you put them in here and you blend them in with other nutrients, you're gonna be fine. Eat your raisins, they're very good for you. Okay, I take some walnuts, I chop them up, I throw them in. I'm gonna close that off. Then I add 3 of my big smoking gun ingredients right here. Can you see these? Let me try to get a close up. See that? It's hard to see it. 3 kernels a day, man. Organic apricot seeds. These are powerhouses. They are toxic if you eat a ton of them, so don't. Literally, the amount that it recommends you eat is 3 a day. The research is really starting to catch on about these and the benefits they bring to the table, no pun intended. Allegedly, dried apricot seeds have been known to help reduce the effects of certain cancers, and people that have actual chemo and they're going through treatment, they've been shown to help reduce the size of tumors. That's what I've been reading about. You can do your fact checking on that all you want. I'm just repeating what I heard. What I do know is they are powerful antioxidants and they make an appearance in every meal that I eat every single day, at least once. I have 3 a day. Last thing, I think this is the last thing, forgive me if it's not, Crunch Stirs. These are mung bean sprouts by this company called Crunch Stirs. This is a Beyond Bacon flavor. I'll do a close up for you, see that? These are fabulous because they add a little bit of crunch to my smoothie bowls, and then they add a little bit of sweet and salty flavor when they blend with all the other things in there. So they are absolutely fabulous and they taste delicious. Before I mix it, it's gonna look like that. Okay, ready? Now we're gonna mix it together. Okay, here we go, finished product. Check that out. See how thick and chewy and gooey it looks? Lots of chunks in there. That is how I like my smoothie bowls. Remember, smoothies are totally fine if you want some quick nutrients, but the problem I have with smoothies is they're too runny. And when you have stuff that is in liquid form, it's gonna digest really quickly, and you might reap a few benefits from it in nutrients, but you're gonna end up getting hungry faster because it's fastly assimilated. This is high in fiber, and it's got a good balance of healthy fats, healthy protein, quality carbs, and a good amount of fiber in it as well. So it's gonna digest slowly, and you're gonna get a lot of ancillary benefits. It'll help with brain function, inflammation, hormone optimization, muscle building, muscle repair, workout recovery, all these different things. That's why that is a world-class, top-notch smoothie bowl made by yours truly, Kevin David Rail. All that being said, please like and share this video, send it to anyone you think can benefit from it, and if you haven't done so yet, subscribe to my channel. Till next time, have a wonderful day.